Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi out here is Tuesday morning, and the Raptors are playing the Miami Heat tonight. First game of 2, 4 games to go in the season, and these are must wins. Must win at home today on a snowy April the 7th in Toronto. Yeah, must win. Yeah, ESPN matchup predictor has us 54% chance to win against Miami at home today at Scotiabank Arena. 54%. Well, we're favored. That's good. All right, let's go look at the latest lineup news and let's get right into it. All right, there were additions to the Raptors lineup of injury report, but there's good news in some cases too. First of all, we'll say this. This is the jersey they're wearing today, and this number right here, Mr. 5, is questionable today. It's sounding like Emmanuel's going to return, guys. It's sounding like if he doesn't come back for this Miami game, he's going to be back for the second Miami game. Because the plantar fasciitis, well, he's questionable technically today. Not out. He's considering coming to play tonight. And I would love to have Quickly play tonight. Face off against Davion Mitchell. Yeah. Quickly was missed on Sunday. Yeah, Chucky Hepburn is out. Colin Murray-Boyles is on the injury list this morning with a quadriceps injury. It's questionable. Sandro Mamukelishvili is also on the injury list this morning. Questionable due to a knee soreness. So, yeah, that's the latest lineup news for the Raptors. Sandro, Colin, Emmanuel, questionable, and Chucky is out. So, who will we start? Well, the latest lineup has been Jacoby with the regular starters. Could it be still Jacoby? Jacoby has played very well recently and would make sense that it might be Jacoby. Oh, that's cool. They put Tyreek on the depth chart. Of course, the call-up of Tyreek Key from the 905 to the Raptors. Will we see him play tonight? That would be awesome. That'd be so awesome. But yeah, I expect Jacoby Walter, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl starting lineup today for the Toronto Raptors. Let's go to the other side of the court and check out what the Heat are saying in their injury report right now. First of all, Terry Rozier, who has not really been playing the whole year, right? Hasn't he been suspended and under dubious allegations by the FBI? And, they say that they're planning to release him in the near future, but he's still on their team. And technically on their report said out, Scary Terry. Yeah, we got our own Scary Terry. We don't need your Scary Terry to come up here. We got Scary Terry up in the 300 level, getting scary at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's right. Norman Powell, the great playoff Powell, the great Raptors champion, is probable for today's game. He has an illness. He's been sick. He did miss their last game, and he's missed some games recently. So Norman Powell, probably going to play. Tyler Hero was away from the team for personal reasons, and now he is probable to play tonight. So that's somebody we haven't seen this year. The first 2 games we played against Miami this year, we won, and Tyler Hero didn't play in those games. So Tyler Hero is probably going to be playing against the Raptors for the first time tonight this year. And finally, Nikola Jovic. He is out due to an ankle injury. He will not be playing for sure today. So, yeah, there you go. Rozier, Jovic out, Hero, and Powell probable, meaning they will come to play probably. All right, so who are the Miami Heat at this point in their season? Well, former Raptors point guard Davion Mitchell is the starter at point guard. Tyler Hero probable to play at shooting guard. Norman Powell probable to play at small forward. Canadian Maple Jordan, Andrew Wiggins at power forward. And the man who scored the second most points in NBA history this year, 83 points, Mr. Bam Adebayo. Yeah, that's pretty impressive what Bam did. Seriously. Off the bench, Miami's got Drew Smith, Pele Larson, Jaime Vasquez Jr., Simone Fontecchio, Kel'el Ware, Kasparas Yaskun. That was bad. Kashad Johnson, who I believe wasn't he in the dunk contest or something, right? Right? Myron Gardner, Jameer Young, and Vladislav Golden. That's pretty much their rotation right there. People available to them to play today. How have the Miami Heat been doing recently? Well, not that great, honestly. They've had 2 wins in their last 11 games. So they're not winning a lot lately. Oh, 3 wins. Sorry, 3 wins in their last 11 games. They did win on Saturday against the Wizards, and that was their last game they played. So yeah, they have 3 wins. They're like 3-8 in their last 11. 3-8. So they're ripe for the picking. Come on now. We need to beat them 2 in a row. We need to be like Drew Jones in the 905 and take care of a home series where there's 2 games at home, just like 905 did all season, taking care of teams 2 times in a row, which is difficult to do. Some people are already speculating we're going to split with Miami, which is fair to say, but I would love to beat them. To get where we want to be at the end of the season. Josh Lundberg and other people are saying we need to win 3 out of these last 4 games. I say we need to sweep these games. If we really want to control our destiny and stay in the playoffs and have a full playoff series and not have to mess around with a play-in game, go 4-0 to finish the season. I know that Friday night game will be the tough one, but man, if you can go 4-0, take it one game at a time, this would be very serious stuff, and it would be showing that you're professional and that you do give a damn. That's what I'm saying. So we need to see this, Raptors. We need to see this in the next 4 games. A very high level of play and execution, showing that you guys are a serious team because we need to be reminded that. Trust me. All right, let's go look at the referees. First of all, in the replay center in New Jersey tonight, it will be Danica Baruti, Nick Booker, and Fennessy Ransom. Yeah, that's not a bad bunch of people to be watching. Now, on site, this is interesting. The ref crew is not the best for the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. But we didn't get Scott Foster, thank God. He's in Boston for the Charlotte-Boston game tonight. Hopefully, Scott Foster is a Celtics fan tonight, and he messes up the Hornets somehow, some way. That could highly be probable, honestly. All right, so our crew chief today is Miami native John Goebel. Yeah, we're playing Miami, and the head ref is a Miami guy. Yeah, I know. Doesn't that seem like that shouldn't be able to happen, right? Doesn't that seem like that shouldn't be able to happen? Like, he shouldn't be allowed to ref Miami games. Goebel. John Goebel, the older brother of the Goebel brothers, number 10, his 19th season. Yeah, he's from Miami, Florida. His favorite movie is The Godfather. He likes to listen to hip-hop, salsa, and reggaeton music. His favorite meal is a skirt steak with black beans and rice and fried plantains. His favorite app is that stupid company by Jeff Bezos. He'd most like to visit Australia, and his hidden talent is he's a Cuban coffee barista. That must be hidden because you're not supposed to have Cuban stuff, are you? No, John Goebel. No, you're not supposed to have Cuban stuff, are you? Cuba's such a big, bad place. Oh, no, they're not. They're awesome people, and they're civilized, and the stupid shit the U.S. is doing to Cuba right now is wrong. It's wrong. The rest of the world's coming to help Cuba, at least. Thank God. John Goebel has officiated 1,074 regular season games and 18 seasons as an NBA staff official. He's also refereed 151 playoff games, including 12 NBA Finals games. John Goebel worked the 2023 NBA All-Star game in Salt Lake City. Yeah, that was a real piece of crap. that All-Star was bad. So Goebel is the kind of the middle percentage ref for us today. We've had him 4 times this year, and we're 1-3. Yeah, we've lost 3 times with him this year and only won once. We did win the last time he ref, though. His winning percentage for the Raptors in his 19 years is 49% winning. So it's just slightly above our franchise record for the 31 years. And, well, Miami does better, 52% winning. So 49-52 for the Miami Heat for Miami native John Goebel. Yeah, that just seems convoluted to me, right? Right? Doesn't that seem just a little fishy to y'all? Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Next, we got the second ref is actually a cool guy, a guy that is a top 5 ref for the Raptors, a guy that is up at the near the top of the ref report spreadsheet that I use. And that is Dedrick Taylor, number 21 out of Miami, Florida, in his 12th season. So we got 2 Miami refs as the 2 main refs. It's like NBA. Come on, man. You want me to get conspiracy theory? Stop giving us refs from the hometown against our opponents. Seriously. His favorite TV show is Good Times. He likes the movie Crash. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Tears We Cannot Stop. He likes to eat breakfast. He plays Candy Crush. He most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is a skydive, and his hidden talent is trumpet and juggling. Previous, Dedrick Taylor worked as an athletic specialist for the city of North Miami Beach Parks and Recreation Department, and he's also been a UPS driver for 13 years. He was a UPS driver. I like Dedrick. I like Dedrick a lot normally, but not today. I don't like him today. Now, we've been bad with him this year. We've had him twice this year, and both were losses. Now, he has a great winning percentage with us. He's up there with Eric Dalen. Yeah, 62% winning for the Raptors when Dedrick Taylor is present. But the Miami native is much nicer to his hometown team, and they win 71% of the games. So 62 to 71 for the Miami Heat with another Miami native, Dedrick Taylor. That just doesn't seem right. That 2 of the 3 refs are from the city that's playing us tonight. Just doesn't seem right. The third ref today is Michael Smith, old head, number 38 out of Memphis, Tennessee, in his 33rd season. Thank God he's from Memphis. His favorite TV show is NCIS, New Orleans. He likes the movie Training Day. He listens to Charlie Wilson. His favorite book is The President is Missing. Yeah, the president is missing because we have a criminal there. There's no president right now, and he's losing his brain. Did you see that what he tweeted this morning? This man is insane. They need to kick him out as soon as possible. The shit he be saying right now is not right. Not right. The man has lost his marbles. The president's brain is missing. Yeah. Favorite meal is dinner. So we got a guy who likes breakfast. We got a guy like dinner. A favorite app is ESPN, and his bucket list is skydive. And he wants to visit the White House. You're crazy. Don't try and visit the White House right now, Michael Smith. Don't do it. And if you do, seriously, don't take pictures like cheesy ass Boston Rob and celebrate like that shit. Because honestly, you're vicariously endorsing war criminal. Is basically what I would say to that. Yeah. Smith has officiated 5 years in the CBA and 8 years in the collegiate level in the Big Ten, Conference USA, and SEC. He also has 10 years of high school officiating experience. Michael Smith refereed the 1990 McDonald's High School All-American game. Who was playing in that game? That might have been Shaq. That's how long ago he refereed that McDonald's All-American game in 1990. I believe that's around Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal would be playing in that high school game. This is how old Michael Smith is, man. I know. I don't mean to age him, and I hope that doesn't come back to where he gets mad. All right, yeah, he's the worst ref today, percentage-wise. Michael Smith. We've won one and lost one this season with him, so we're 1-1, which is actually the best record for the 3 of them. We win 47% of our games, which is right underneath our franchise winning record for the whole time. In some ways, he's been reffing the league the whole time while we've been in existence. So Michael Smith refereed Raptors games in the first year of the Raptors. That's how long he's been reffing. And Miami Heat win 54% of their games. So 47 to 54% for Miami again. All 3 refs statistically favor Miami Heat, and 2 of them are from Miami. So there you go. Normally, I would say Michael Smith, Dedrick Taylor, and John Gobler are an okay crew, but I don't like this. Maybe they can't show any bias towards their hometown. I don't know. I'll be watching you 2 for this because in some ways it's a conflict of interest. I would just say that. Nobody cares, though. It's because it's the Raptors. Nobody should care if it's against them. That whatever. That's the ref report. Yeah. John Goebel, Diedrich Taylor, Michael Smith. Yeah. What can you do? That's who they sent to Toronto today. Yeah. Trevor J with the words of wisdom. Thank you, Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J. And thank you for sending me something. I will go and get it from the post office soon. Yeah. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Not totally sure. There's a lot of snow on the ground again this morning. It's weird. It'll show up. I wake up and there's snow on the ground again. Oh, snow. It snowed last night. But this will all be melted, I'm sure, in like the next few hours. Yeah, just like yesterday. There was a good cover, and by noon, it was all gone. So it melted away quick. It's like late in the night snows, and then warm temperatures during the day, and it's gone. Yeah, it's not bad. Trevor J's words of wisdom: stay curious about the life God is giving you. Try new things, learn new skills, let yourself grow into rooms you have never stood in before. Sometimes confidence does not arrive first. Sometimes it shows up after you finally begin. That's interesting. That's interesting stuff. Yeah, stay curious about life. Yeah. Some people's paths are through careers and conditioned lives through the systems that we have created that are all conditioning. They're not actually true to us. They're not actually part of the nature of humans. It's just bullshit we made up that we have to go do because the system has been made that way. When you decondition yourself from thinking that way, some of this falls apart and you don't really have to think about this anymore. Because I really am in that point where I'm like, you know what? I'm like a tree. I don't have to do jack shit. We don't have to do nothing. We were supposed to just exist on this planet like a deer or a squirrel. It's all this other extra shit we made up that we have to jump through hoops and run around and do all this shit. Sure, you got to feed yourself. Sure, you should take care of yourself healthy wise and do things like that. But we all don't understand just how much bullshit we've been conditioned with since we were little children to believe this is the way we are supposed to be as Homo sapiens, because it's not true. And the truth about who we are has been obscured by people who worship this God money. And so in some ways it's true. Try new things, learn new skills, grow into new rooms. Man, I don't know about that, but I like learning new skills. That's definitely something you should do. Definitely something. Try and learn something new every day. Try and learn new life skills, maybe survival skills. Yeah, these are things you probably should start learning right now. Trust me. Just hear me out right now as systems collapse around the world because of madmen and just poor financial planning and poor economic responsibility by the 1% being hoarding hoarding money and being greedy. They're going to collapse the system. And there's going to be like, we used to joke in the 80s about Russia. What a joke Russia is. They have people standing in bread lines. Well, get ready for that, USA. Get ready for bread lines. I mean, there already are on the down low food bank lines down the street and food costs going rising and rising and rising because people have been irresponsible with the system of capitalism and they broke it. And honestly, I'm not feeling bad for them because when you get greedy like they have and they destroy the game and they cheated like they did, it deserves to crumble. And it will. There's nothing they can do to save it at this point, because what's going to happen is more and more systems, whether they're government systems, whether they're civic systems, whether they're supply line systems, are going to crumble. And there's going to be more and more issues. The stuff that's happening with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz and things like that is just the beginning. And in the next 3 or 4 years, more and more people are going to have to make smarter decisions about how they take care of themselves. And one of them, that's why I'm a big fan of permaculture and gardening and growing your own food. Put it in your own hands, put it in your own responsibility, because things are going to change real soon, y'all. And if you don't believe me, well, you're going to see more evidence before the end of this year. And you're going to be like, oh, fuck, Lex is right. We got to do something. We got to get ready, honey. This is going to be crazy what's coming up. So, if you don't have to use money to take care of yourself, that's probably the smartest, because in some ways, everything's going to either be at a premium to pay for it at that point, and you're not going to be able to afford half the shit that you used to be able to afford because of it, or you make your own shit and you go back a couple of generations back in your ancestry and you do things like they did it. Hunter-gatherers. gardeners, farmers, barterers, craftsmen, people that do shit on a lower level than society's civilized way are going to be very powerful in the near future because they're ahead of the curve and they're reading the trends and they're seeing how everything's disintegrating right in front of us and before our eyes. So I would say this: you want to get in new rooms? You want to learn new skills? Well, start thinking about how you can take care of yourself without the help of the system of society. Because if you don't, well, some ways the strong survive, the smart survive, and the skilled survive. And that's it right there, man. Yeah, yeah. Trevor, I love your words of wisdom. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. I'm serious. People can think that I'm crazy and that I'm a conspiracy theorist and that, Lex, no, it's just business as usual. This is going to be how it's going to be. No, you guys don't understand. There's some heavy shit coming. And like I said, they've gone too far. It's game closure time because it's all going to fall apart around us. And people don't realize this well enough yet. They'll hold on to the old systems and old ways as long as they can, but it's going to be in vain because it's all going to fall apart, guys. And it's supposed to, because this is the way that man has been evolved to. This is what we build ourselves up to for the last 200 years with innovations and so smart with stock portfolios and all the stupid shit we've made up and made into society and what humankind is. It's so stupid. We would have been better off if we had just followed indigenous ways and lived the life that they taught and the way they live in harmony with the world. We would be so better off right now. But alas, people had to be greedy. People had small egos, big egos and small brains, and had to feel like they're better than other people by having a bigger bank account. And this whole thing is part of the problem right here. That's all it is right here. Yeah. All right, let me keep going. Let's keep going. Trevor's saying happy game day, beat Miami tonight. That's right. That's right. They're going to be wearing these jerseys, the white with the red chevron. So yeah, game day today. That's right. Congratulations, Tyreek Key. Yeah, we went over this breaking news yesterday, Trevor, on the stream. They broke the news about Tyreek getting signed to the Raptors on a 10-day. It's actually end of season contract day because there's not 10 days left. It's a prorated, 7-day contract. Yeah, we're very proud of Tyreek. Of course, Coach Drew Jones posted it on his Instagram. I've been writing Andrew Jones the last couple weeks and talking to him, and he's been writing me right back. I said, congratulations, coach, on a fantastic 905 season. You've done a very good job. I know you're going to get a good head coaching job down the road, and I appreciate you and the entertainment that the 905 and your team provided me this season. And he wrote me back, and he said basically, I can go get it. Let me see what he said exactly. Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and I'm shocked that he talks to me so right directly. This is basically what he said. Appreciate the kind words. Was a pleasure leading this group and having the support of people like you. There you go. Yeah. Andrew Jones is a class act. He's a great coach. And Tyreek Key has put in 2 years of tough service on the 905, toiling away, and he's paid off now. He's posted stuff in the last 24 hours of overjoyment. Tyreek Key, this is a dream come true. And he's just like, man, I worked so hard for this. It's like basically saying you keep working hard, your dreams will come true is what he's saying right now. So yeah, even if he gets one appearance in the NBA, he'll be able to say he's an NBA player. And that's really all it is right there. Is it about sticking and making it for the long term? Sure, if he can do that, that's great. That's ideal. But just stepping on court, an NBA court once and playing 2 minutes of a game, you can say you played in the NBA and you can be proud of that. Because look, people can look down on it and say, well, you only played 2 minutes. What the fuck? No, did you understand how much work it took and how many games and different things I had to do to get 2 minutes of NBA time and be able to say I officially am an NBA player? Do you understand that? This man went to Belgium and played overseas for a while. This man played 2 years on our G League team And honestly, he didn't miss many games. He played the full season this year and last year, and he put in that work. And finally, it comes to fruition, a path into the NBA and an opportunity to step on an NBA court. You can't poo-poo that. Nephews and casuals and jerks and assholes will like, oh, he's a joke. He didn't make the league, motherfucker. He got way closer and did way more than you ever did in your life. So respect that and be proud and happy for Tyreek Key. I hope that Darko does put him in one of these games. I don't want him to go through this week without getting inserted into a game. He needs to play in one of these games, even if it's the very last game on Sunday against the Nets. You need to play Tyreek Key, Darko, and give him his NBA dream of being on that court, even if it's just for a few fleeting minutes. Even if. It's just a beautiful story. Beautiful, beautiful story. Trevor Jays brought up the big WNBA news yesterday that the Chicago Sky traded Angel Reese to the Atlanta Dream. Yeah, it's for a couple of first-round picks. And apparently, everybody wants the Chicago Sky owner to be fired or not have ownership of the team, because in some ways he's a cheapskate and he doesn't care about making any money off the team, and he's not putting any money into the team. They're saying that they actually traded picks to move up in the draft to get Angel Reese. So this is like, why did you do that just to trade her for 2 first-round picks to the Atlanta Dream? And Angel's saying publicly that she didn't ask to be traded. Now, last year there was conflict and problems on that team, and it seemed like some of it had to do with Cardoza and Reese. But, either way, she's an Atlanta Dream now, and she's very happy about the next chapter of her career. Sky fans are pissed. Sky fans are saying this was one of the biggest commodities in this league right now, the biggest draws, the biggest money makers, and the owner of the Sky is an idiot. He hasn't put any money into anything for them. They practice at a college. He doesn't want to spend any money on free agents. So Chicago residents are saying, yeah, get this guy out of here. He shouldn't be the owner of Chicago Sky. They were clearing house in Chicago yesterday. But not only did they trade Angel Reese in a dubious trade that's making everybody think that the Chicago Sky are idiots, the Chicago Bulls fired their GMs yesterday, including Mark Eversley, a former employee of the Raptors front office, who's been there for 6 years. Yeah, the track record of the Lithuanian guy and Mark Eversley, who's been running the Bulls, has been pretty bad. So the Reinsdorf family has dismissed them as of yesterday. There's some dumb rumor out there, and this doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm gonna put it down right now, that the next candidate to run the Chicago Bulls is our great Masai. Yeah, there's a rumor out there. People are saying, yeah, Masai's gonna come and run the Bulls now. You wish, Chicago Bulls. You wish. He's not gonna do that. First of all, Mark Eversley worked for Masai Ujiri, and he worked for him just before, and then he left and went to Chicago. Now, Masai's not trying to come in and take over a GM job. That's below his pay grade. What is his pay grade, and where is he at now? He's owner. You don't go down like that. Masai started like a scout. Okay. Assistant GM. Okay. GM. Okay. President of the team. Okay. Executive vice president of the team. Okay. Like the whole, everything. And now he's an owner. Was he going to come back into the NBA as a GM and just to run the Bulls at GM level? No, he's not going to do that. So everybody in Chicago thinking that they're going to get Ujiri to run their team next, you're crazy. It's not going to happen. I don't see that. You guys see that? I don't see it. I don't see that. Trevor's saying this: the Spurs beat the Sixers without Victor because he got hurt last night. Yeah, Victor got hurt in the first half of the Spurs-Sixers game last night. He collided with Paul George at half court, and he did not return to the game. Now, there's some confusion about whether the game last night goes towards the 65 games for the season or not, because there's a rule that you have to play 20 minutes in the game to get that to count as one of your 65. Now, he played 15 minutes last night. Now, there's actually a clause in it also that says you can have a couple of exception games that count your 65 during the season that aren't 20-minute games. So he has like 2 games he can use where he can have 20 less than 20 minutes and they'll count as one of the games. And he's using one of those for last night. So they're apparently what Victor has to do to qualify for postseason awards at this point is to play in one more game this season for 20 minutes, and he's good. And he will be eligible for the Defensive Player of the Year. So, but yeah, that was dubious. Now, that's not really the most important thing about this game. The most important thing about this game is the Spurs took care of business and messed up the Sixers and helped us out. Because now in the standings as of this morning, the Raptors are back in the playoffs and the Sixers are in the play-in, but we're a half game above them. That's the thing, Raptors. Today, you're playing the Miami Heat, and you have a little bit of an edge on the Sixers as of last night, thanks to the Spurs. Do you want to tie with them in your record and lose tonight? Or do you want to get another win so you can stay in the playoff spot and keep the Sixers in the play-in? I can't understand if y'all can't have urgency and motivation tonight, considering that situation I just described. If you can't get up for tonight against the Heat and play at a high level with urgency and play at a very, very professional, very executing kind of level, I don't know what to say about y'all, because there should be no lack of motivation in what your current situation is with this finishing of this season. There should be no lack of motivation. And y'all need to come out, and especially with the home crowd with you there in the arena, you need to show up and you need to be crazy, crazy good tonight. And leave no doubt that you're beating the Miami Heat tonight. And in some ways, if you beat them bad enough, you can destroy their spirits and possibly set up an easier game on Thursday when you play them the second time. So, there's a lot of strategy in what you should do today. And the first one is, well, Philadelphia's in the play-in. Y'all in the playoffs. Do you covet that? Do you look at that as being sacred? Are you going to go out there and take it to them, Scotty Barnes? Are you going to zero in and dial in and get on point, Brandon Ingram? Because that's what I want to see tonight. Y'all get another clean slate today. And, well, we're going to be watching. We're going to be rooting for you. We love you guys, but we want y'all to win. We don't want to see y'all losing the Miami Heat tonight. So y'all need to take care of your jobs. That's your job. You're professional basketball players. You play in the NBA. So what is your job? It's to go and try and win basketball games. And it's not easy. You're going to be facing Miami Heat with their great coach, Spoelstra, and their grittiness and the way they play. And you guys know these Miami games are always crazy between us. They are very competitive. And they're like chess matches. But fortunately, Darko does well against Eric Spoelstra. In fact, we've already beat them twice this year. And we've beaten them pretty good in the last few years. But, yeah, you guys can't mess around. You need to come in there quick, hopefully. And also remember, in some ways, look, 2 of the refs are from Miami. So in some ways, don't be looking to get favor from the refs. You need to beat them too, because they're likely to not be on your side. I'm just going to say that right now. As much as I like Dedrick Taylor, UPS driver, he's not going to be on our side today, I don't think. Hopefully it'll be very down the middle. That's what we can hope for, right? That's what we can hope for. Let's see. Jimmy's here. Good morning to Jimmy Pope, the Pope of positivity, a regular Raptor freak. Always good to see Jimmy. He's saying crazy important stretch to determine our playoff lives. I believe big losses. Yeah, I believe. You believe. Okay, that was a period. Stop, Lex. I believe. I like that. Big losses for Atlanta, lost to the Knicks, and Philly lost to the Spurs. Now a 3-way tie for 7, 8, and 9. Heat's going to come out swinging. We better be ready. Tame them all. This is an interesting situation. It's been described that there's a possibility of a 4-way tie at the end of the season, where tiebreakers will be coming in very helpful for teams that have them to win. Now, we have a tiebreaker over Orlando. We have a tiebreaker over Miami. Right now, if we beat them tonight, we'll definitely have the tiebreaker because we'll be 3-0 over them. We have the tiebreaker over Atlanta, but we do not have the tiebreaker over Philadelphia. And in some ways, out of those teams, that's the team we need to make sure we're above the better record than Sixers. The Hornets are another team that's in the play too. And unfortunately, I think they have the tiebreaker over us also. So, yeah, this is going to be very, very big time games. Thank you to the Knicks for coming back. They were down to the Hawks most of that game. And OG, And Jalen Brunson got things together in the second half and won the game for the Knicks in Atlanta. And that was a big win. That was very helpful. And in some ways, we appreciate that, New York. We appreciate that. Yeah. The Philly game, obviously, very happy to see San Antonio take care of business, even with Wemby not available for the second half. Yeah. Yeah. So good outcomes in the NBA last night for sure, Jimmy, for sure. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Game day blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. When life seems gloomy and hope fades, remember the eternal, everlasting God specializes in doing the impossible. Have faith in God. Let's get this win. Yeah, I like this. I like this. I know I painted a weird picture about society and what's going to happen in the next few years, but don't take it as a bad thing. Everything that happens is not necessarily good or bad. It's the connotations you want to put on it with your perception. In some ways, systems collapsing and crumbling soon are just destiny that's supposed to happen anyway. And in some ways, there's a timeline of things with civilizations. And, like the fall of Rome, when you get to this level where there's just this opulence at the very, very top and a disregard for humanity all below, you get to this point. And this is just history repeating itself. The Gilded Age, the things that happened after the Industrial Revolution and the reset back for union rights and workers' rights. That was an important thing that happened. Now, in some ways, how's this reset going to happen? How's this going to happen in a way where it's good? It could happen in a lot of ways. It could happen in dark ways. It could happen in good ways. And in some ways, the best thing to do right now, like Randolph's saying, is to have a faith in God, that God is looking out and God will make everything all right in the end. There's going to be a lot of confusion. There's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff happening. And even if it seems like it's all bad and all really, really dark, it may also be very much there's light growing in the middle of it. And in the end, it's all going to be better for it because of it. So, it really is a yin yang. That symbol is really true. There's gray clouds in the sky, but there's a silver line in there. And in the good things that you have, there is sometimes a speck of darkness in the middle of it. So, yeah, it's going to be complicated. It's going to be weird. Hold on to your hats and be ready. That's all I got to say. If there's a ways that you can prepare yourself with life skills in different ways, that's probably smart. And if you can get ahead by preparing yourself in certain ways, like making your own food, like I'm doing here, it's probably smart, is what I'm saying. It's probably smart. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. And since Randolph has come in, I'm going to go ahead and do my daily prayer for the game tonight, right now. I do these on game day to pray for health and healing and good things for the world, and especially for our Toronto Raptors. So I'm going to do this now. Dear God, thank you for another day, a day of April the 7th with snow on the ground and basketball to be played. I appreciate you for all that you do for us, all that you do for me, food on the table, clothes on my back, roof over my head. I appreciate the fellowship and camaraderie of my family and friends and all the people in my life. I appreciate them so much, especially Commissioner Trivia Adriana. But I also want to ask you humbly today to protect the Toronto Raptors from injury on the court and in their everyday lives too. Why not? Also, please protect the Miami Heat, especially Norman Powell and Davion Mitchell. And also protect all the rest of the teams around the league and even the referees. Why not? Please protect the people in war zones right now, like the innocent people that are being subjugated to bombings in Lebanon and Iran and other places around the world that I didn't mention. Please protect us from war criminals that would start wars just for financial gains and are betting on wars like sick pigs and enriching themselves off of this kind of situation. Please protect the people that are in terror in the United States and worrying right now about agents coming to their house and ripping them away from their family and putting them in cages and warehouses across the nation. This all sounds so messed up. And in some ways, if God, I know you're out there and I know you're watching and I know you're keeping score. And in some ways, I know you will get this all figured out. I used to play Magic the Gathering. There was a card called Wrath of God, and it was a 2 white, 2 colorless card cost. And well, in some ways, the wrath of God will come one day for those that have committed the war crimes and committed the atrocities and the crimes against humanity. I appreciate you so much. No ego in this. I am only a humble servant that uses my voice as a tool to help. And I appreciate you so much. Please help the Raptors win out for the rest of the games. Sweep the last 4 games, please. Thank you. Amen. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. Yeah, Jimmy's saying this. Oh, and how the narrative would change. You know, if we won all 4 games going out, you know, Raptors fans and nephews would get in line in the right way. Yeah, in some ways, you know, we win tonight. We beat Miami the second game too. People will be feeling a lot better. You know, sometimes the way they're reacting is just by the place where they are in the standings that day. Oh, we're in the play-in. We're in the play-in. Okay, we're falling apart. Whoa, we're back in the playoff as of last night. Okay, I'm feeling more confident now. There's a lot to that. I can see why people get like that. I can see why people get like that. That's right. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy game day. 4 games to go, Raptors. Let's not give up and maintain focus. We can do it. That's right. I like that. Coach MJ coaches her daughter, Fiercey Jr., who's going to be playing for the Hurricanes in college coming up in the fall. It's fantastic stuff. This is the kind of stuff she does in her everyday life for her daughter, a basketball player coming up in the world. That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. Stargate's here. Let's see. That's wild. A person who's from Miami is reffing the Heat. Talk about conflict of interest. Yeah, both the Goebbels and Diedrich are like the 3 Miami refs. They're like the only Miami refs in the league that are from that city. The Goebel brothers and Diedrich Taylor. Now, see, I trust Diedrich Taylor for the most part. I don't know. And I've seen this too before with the Goebbels, where they'll be reffing a Miami game and they're actually going against Miami just to make it seem like they're not for Miami. Like I've seen John Goebel screw over Miami before, even though he's from Miami. So I don't know. It's this kind of scrutiny. It's like, yeah, John Goebel, you're going to be looking like you're helping your hometown team? Or can you make some calls against them tonight to signal, yeah, I'm impartial. I'm a good ref. And I don't care where they're from, if they're from the same place that I'm from. I don't know. That's something I have seen John Goebel screw over the Miami Heat before just to make it, you know, up and up and showing, yeah, I don't have favor for them. I'll screw over my hometown team. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how he is tonight. We'll be watching. We're watching you, John Goebel. We're watching you. That's right. That's right. Trevor J saying this. Shaquille O'Neal and TNT Sports are laughing. Dunk Man, the world's first professional league this summer. Grand prize $500,000. You put a dot there so it looks like $500. Wow, really putting that money out, Shaq, with all your icy hot money. How you can't pay them more than 500? I'm just kidding. It's $500,000, I'm sure. Yeah. I don't know about this concept. You know, I get the big 3. I get unrivaled. 3-on-3 basketball is great. But what the hell is this league going to be? You know, they tried a trampoline basketball league once a long time ago. You guys remember that? Well, they set up a court and it had trampolines and the little short people could play. And they were dunking in the middle of the game and doing all this stuff. I think it was on the same hour with roller derby or something like that. They said first half hour, roller derby, second half hour, trampoline basketball. Ooh-wee, let's watch some trampoline basketball. Nah, it's just morphed into halftime acrobatics at a NBA game, putting the trampoline out there and having the squad run through and throw it up and dunk it. Yeah. What is this going to be, Shaq? Like, how the hell is this going to be entertaining? This is not basketball. You're going to try and outbeat the dunk competition for the NBA? Man, you're not going to do anything with this. Is Mac McClung going to be y'all's MVP in the dunk man season? I'll bet you have to get Mac McClung for this to work. He's the most professional dunk artist in the world today. Mac McClung, 3-time NBA dunk champion. He needs to be in this league, Shaq, if you're doing this. But I don't understand this league. It's like the well's dry for dunks in the NBA. in the dunk competition. Why the hell do y'all think you're going to do something innovative or do something stupid or crazy? I don't know. Do you have obstacles? Do you have perilous, dangerous things about the dunk? You have to dunk over a moat of crocodiles. Mac McClung. Yeah, you don't want to be eight. You better be jumping good today. Yeah, what is this going to be? Like, how are they innovating this to make this fresh or interesting? How are they poking the dead carcass that dunk competitions are with a stick to get this to wake up and revitalize and be like, wow, this is entertaining? This sounds like XFL failure all around right here. Unrivaled, big three, those have worked. They're making money. They're doing it right. But this dunk man league sounds stupid as hell. And I don't think it's going to be successful in any kind of way. Like, what is this? A dunk league? What does that mean? And what is this going to be? It's going to be dunk competitions over and over again? When is that going to get tired? When is that going to get old? When are we going to see too many jumps over a Kia automobile? Like, what is this going to be? Lots of props, Shaq? Are you going to be out there yourself? Like on a little thing spinning around, and they'll take the ball off your head and dunk. Oh, just like Mac did. You could be on a little thing, the little, you know what I'm talking about, that futuristic little board with the wheels and spin around. Ooh, I'm going to dunk on Shaq. He's the dunk man commissioner, so I'm going to dunk on him. I don't know. This doesn't sound like this has legs. There's no innovation in the NBA dunk competition. So why the hell would there be innovation in the dunk man league that Shaq's about to start? Sounds like Vince McMahon and XFL all over again right here. This is a waste of money, it sounds like. This sounds like this is going to be a big financial disaster, and Shaq's going to lose some money is what it sounds like to me. Yeah, dunk man league. What is this? Come on now. Come on now. Jimmy Post saying this. With all the teams fighting for 5 to 10, only us and the Heat have 4 games left. The rest have 3. We have the advantage if we capitalize. Are you kidding me? 2 hometown refs? Yeah, in some ways that may not matter. Like I said, Diedrich's very fair to us. It's not like Diedrich Taylor screws us over. He's very fair to us. He's been one of the best refs since I've been paying attention to this, although this year we have not won with him. Yeah, it's a tough situation, but in some ways we shouldn't think about it that way. We need to go play as badass as we can. And if it's not like we haven't won games this year 8 versus 5. I don't think it will be 8 versus 5. I think they're going to be fair because in some ways they have this scrutiny of this, what we just said, but we'll just see. Maybe they will screw us over and it'll be like, yeah, who cares? You're the Raptors. Nobody cares that you got screwed over by Miami refs playing the Miami Heat. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I think that, Jimmy, you're right, that in some ways us having 4 games still, even though there's a back-to-back involved in it, and that's annoying, that is kind of an advantage because these teams are going ahead of us and we see where they're at. It's kind of like the dunk competition or the three-point shootout. Oh, okay, you went ahead, Devin Booker, or you went ahead of Dame Lillard, and he can see the score he has to beat afterwards. Yeah, some ways that works that way. Although all NBA teams will be playing Friday night and Sunday, the last 2 games of their season. So it'll be evened out by then. But with the 2 games against Miami, there's some wiggle room and some ability to maybe get some distance from the Sixers, especially if they lose again to the Rockets very soon. Yeah, this is what we got to look at. Yeah, let's see. Jimmy saying, not obvious at all. Stargate saying, wait, another Miami ref? Hold on. This is why we do ref report, right? Josh Monroe saying this, Heat not going to fold. They're going to fight hard from the jump. They go 100% at all times. They have that Heat culture. They are very, very much like that. Yeah. But their talent and their level of excellence is not the same level that they've had in the best Heat culture years. I would say that the Heat aren't as good without Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was that punch up of intensity and Heat culture to really make Heat culture very strong. The other thing that's hurt them this year is Tyler Hero's been hurt most of the season. He's been out. Bam Adebayo's not getting any younger, even though he scored 83. He's not necessarily on a night in, night out basis the same Bam that can be the most powerful Bam like he was when he was younger. There's a lot of different things here. We love Norman. Norman's had a renaissance in his best season as a pro in Miami this year. Seeing Davion find his place in the league and actually sticking to it with the Heat is nice. It's a nice story, you know. But let's not get it twisted. This Miami Heat team isn't as talented as those other teams that are so big and scary in the past. They're still dangerous. They still cannot be taken lightly. And their coach is very, very good. But at the same time, this isn't a top tier Miami Heat team. This is a middling team to maybe even a bottom feeder team. And in some ways, their place at the bottom of the plane right now is exactly where they're supposed to be. Now, are they going to try and jump out of that spot and beat us to get there? Yeah. And Josh is exactly right. This warning is true. They're not going to fold and they're going to be coming hard at us right from the jump. So the Raptors need to match that energy, out talent them, outsize them, and outplay them. And if they do that, they can beat them today. And I think that they will. I really hope they will. Because in some ways, we can't afford a piss poor effort. And y'all need to be locked in and taking this as serious as possible and coming at this like, you guys keep saying we're already playing games like they're playoff games. Bullshit. We saw how y'all came out in Boston on Sunday. You're not playing these games like playoff games yet. If you are, you don't understand what the playoffs are. You don't understand what they are if you are like that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Neil saying 4-game streak. That's right. Let's win all 4 of them out. I'm about that. Stargate saying this. Lex, may I make a suggestion? Maybe you should make another channel where you could opine your political sentiments and social viewpoints. Just a suggestion. Some people do that, have different channels dedicated to different things. Go Raptors. You know what? I've thought about doing this many times over the years. And I know some people don't like me interjecting politics on this channel, but I hope that you can just look past it and understand that really at this point, my politics aren't really about a side or anything. At this point, it's more about humanity and being for humans and natural life over artificial life and artificial intelligence and data centers and stuff like that. That's the real struggle at this point. There's the struggle, right-wing politics have gotten us to this point and made us have a really dangerous time right now. But in some ways, it's not about left versus right at this point. It's really going to be about, the natural world and humans versus the made up, crazy AI fake world that's coming. And yeah, I get what you're saying. I've thought about doing this, but the thing about it is this channel is a lot of work. So doing one YouTube channel is a full-time job. Doing 2 YouTube channels would be like having 2 full-time jobs. And I'm not trying to do that. It could be that maybe I do a special once a week political podcast. Maybe that could work, but in some ways also that seems like that's too much of a commitment and I'll burn myself out, Stargate. I mean, this is already a grind and a half to get up every morning and do 2 hours on the Raptors at 9:30 every single day. This is a grind and a half, but to try and take on a whole other, because I was going to do a gardening one. I wanted to do a gardening one, honestly, and film stuff that I'm doing out in my yard. I talked about doing that, but it's just not feasible for everything. And I don't want to burn myself out because in some ways this channel puts me in danger of burning myself out constantly. And if I take on the responsibility of another channel, I'm damn for sure going to burn myself out. I know I will. So I have to know my limits. And unfortunately, the best way for me to do this is to still interject it here and there here, and hopefully people, they can either listen to me and say, yeah, he's crazy. I don't believe what he's believing. Or they listen to me and they're like, you know what? In some ways, he's got a point there, but I don't totally agree with him. Whatever level of people listening to what I may say, if what I said earlier, if that helps somebody decide something in their life, like, oh, you know what? I am going to start a garden right now. Oh, I am going to take this class, or I'm going to go do this just to get ready, or for this, if I inspire anybody to do like a small life decision to go garden more because of some of the things I'm saying, I've done a good thing then. I look at it that way because I do really believe in butterfly effects. I really do believe if you disseminate information to the masses, that people will take that information and they'll like ants and they'll take it to the next person, it goes around. So that's all I can do. This is a Raptors channel. This is a basketball channel. This is going to be all about Toronto Tempo soon. But this is also the catch-all. This is Lex's channel. And we're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about politics. So we cover a lot of different topics on this channel, and sometimes we talk about this just dumb, stupid shit, and it's fun. That kind of stuff is fun too. Yeah, I appreciate the suggestion, and I have heavily thought about this, but this is my reasoning why. This is my reasoning why. Shaq Lindsay saying this. It's just my opinion. Rogers or MLSC isn't totally invested into this core or group of players on our roster. More fearful is their investment into this organization. I can agree to one extent in this group of players. Hang on, it's between. Hang on, Shaq Lindsay he has a couple of comments in between. All right, let me read this again. It's just my opinion. Rogers or MLSC isn't totally invested into this core or group of players on our roster. More fearful is their investment into this organization. I can agree to one extent. This group of players has been disappointing down the stretch, but this organization has been the best out of the three sports clubs. How they end the season will determine the future of this group of players. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, you're taking a kind of a fearful approach to this, but we can't be afraid of this. There's nothing that's going to change the ownership now that MLSC is run by Ed Rogers III. In some ways, I've looked at it a couple ways. I do this channel, I watch what's going on, and I'll opine on it or I'll react to it. And if I see that Rogers is destructive or not working towards the right way for our team, I'll talk about it. I'll call it out. Right now, I wanted to give them a blank slate from when they started, him and Keith Pelly last year. And so far, the stuff I've seen that's annoying to me is basically like a lot of promotion with other things and just trying to make as much money as possible. But in some ways, that is not scaring me about what we're doing with the team. You know, in some ways, the performance of the team, you're right, depending on how we finish the season, could have a tone to the offseason and things that happen. But I think that, you know, one thing we got to remember about Keith Pelly is that he's been very successful everywhere he's ever worked. And in some ways, the thing that he's successful at is generating money, whether it's working for PGA, whether it's working for TSN or Rogers, like Sportsnet. You know, he's worked in all kinds of different places. And why he's successful is that he's been kind of good at generating money. And that's what he's trying to do right now. That's his primary focus. It's not necessarily to meddle with the teams. It's not necessarily to dictate the teams and how they run the teams, but it's on the edges to see how can we make a little extra money around here and around here. You know, that's why he went to 905. Because in some ways, what did he do? He went out to Mississauga and watched the game out there, hung out with Courtney Charles, looked at what they're doing out there, and he talked to him about maximizing profits. How can we get more people in the stands, Courtney? Yeah. You know, how can we sell more jerseys? How can we get more money out of the 905 team and deriving that? And in some ways, there's been an uptick in the attendance for 905 this season. And there's been, you know, more money derived from 905. So, you know, even the whole idea of them making that practice facility for 905 out at Paramount Fried Food Center. Well, it's good for the 905 team to have a place to practice, but it's also a money-making venture because they're going to rent that gym out to community groups and people in this community and get money from it that way too. So, yeah, that's what they're all about is the money. But I don't think it's like Keith said, I'll let basketball people make the basketball decisions. And I'm not going to come in and tell you, yeah, you got to trade this guy or you got to do this guy because that's not my knowledge base. I don't know shit about basketball. Thank God Keith Pelly knows nothing about basketball because he might be meddling. He may meddle with the hockey team way more than the Raptors because he does know some stuff about hockey. And maybe he does come in and mess with the Leafs brass and what they're trying to do because he has an ego and he's like, yeah, you know, you should do this and get this. But he doesn't know shit about the NBA. So in some ways, him trying to tell Bobby what to do falls on false ears because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So there is that thing we have to keep in mind. So, you know, we got to just hope that Rogers runs this team healthy and gives us the best chances to compete and win. And right now, I got to continue to give him chances because he's doing fine. We're doing fine under the Rogers era so far. We've had a successful year. And even if we fail out of this season, the end here, I don't think that there will be an overreaction this summer. I don't think there will be. I don't think there will be. I think that this has been, once again, we look at the whole big picture. We look at the way things are skewing up, not down. Keith Pelly would be very happy with this year, even if we have a bad exit at the final game or something. He's going to be very happy with us because I bet you they made a lot of money this year too. And it may not be totally, exactly the wins that the game team gets, but the money they make that makes Rodgers and Pelly happy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah. Let's see. G saying this. I think this trade with Angel is a bit deeper. Turns out the Dream have the most games against the Fever. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's still a bit odd. Yeah, I mean, there were issues with her on the Chicago Sky last year, obviously. There were issues. She had very public statements about her teammates, and there was divisions there. But she's publicly saying she didn't ask for a trade. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, it's probably a good fit for her in Atlanta. We'll just have to see how that all works out. I'm just wondering about like what the crazy thing is going on right now is today and yesterday is the negotiations and the start the WNBA free agency this week. And this week is going to be wild. People that are WNBA fans are like, get ready, strap yourself in, because this is going to be like, how in this offseason people get so trade crazy and they love seeing players get switched to teams and the brand newness and the fun of like, whoa, this has changed this way and this has changed this way. Get ready for this week. Because this week in the WNBA, with the free agency that's going to be crammed into 1 week, there's going to be these kind of stories like crazy over this weekend. There's going to be some really jaw-dropping kind of stuff that's going to change the landscape of the WNBA for the season because there's going to be movement. There's going to be movement, and there's going to be some surprises. And there's going to be so much of it all at once. We're going to need the WNBA shams because they're going to be working overtime. I believe their names are Alexa or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm trying to learn the WNBA world, and there's 2 trusted breaking news reporters that kind of are the shams for WNBA. And they both have an A to start their names. I don't know who they are. Y'all might know. If you know, write in the chat. But yeah, this is going to be a very fun week. And then there's a draft on Monday where the Toronto Tempo will pick their first ever college draft entry player and at the 6th pick. And it looks like this draft is good. Like there's going to be a very good player that the Tempo will select at number 6 on Monday. Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Stargate saying, beat the Heat. That's right. Let's go. Shaq Lindsay saying, Colin Murray-Boyles and Jacoby's future talents. This organization can hang their hats on. Let's see who they get in the draft. Yeah, here we go. We'll go do the Raptors Redditor of the day. Once again, we're looking for the good guys on Reddit because there's a lot of bad people on Reddit right now. They're just crazy. So here we go. This is Brenz, Brehhs. Raptors Redditor of the day saying to bring some positivity into this doomer sub. Yeah, I hear that. They are doomers sometimes. Jacoby has been balling as of late. His last 10 games, 11.6 points, 3.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists, shooting 53% and 57% from 3. Really excited to see him in an expanded role next season. Well, I don't know if his role will expand much from where it is right now. I think that he's really in a good spot for where he's developed to be this much on the court. Now, maybe his role expands as far as he's getting more touches and shots because he's more dependable on offense. And we open up him to get more opportunities to shoot. That may be one of the ways he expands his role. But I don't know if he'll expand into being a regular starter or being like I think that he really is locked down our 6-man role. In some ways, I saw Grady as being this for this year. He should have been the true 6-man, Grady Dick, but it's evolved to Jacoby Walter as the true 6-man for the Raptors. And I don't see Jacoby becoming a regular starter next year. I don't. I still see him kind of in the same spot in the rotation, maybe the first guy off the bench, and just a reliable spot starter if somebody's out. That kind of stuff. Wow, there's a hawk. Wow, it's such a beautiful bird, the way it soars. So cool. Yeah, all right, sorry, ADHD. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying this, tonight is a must win. Philly gifted us one. Take advantage of that. Yeah, I'm with you, Reggie. I'm with you on that. Kaloy, this morning, good morning to you. Luckily for the Raptors, all the perception can change if we handle their business for the remaining games. I want to see Scotty not be soft, and Brandon must redeem himself. Yeah, yeah, we talked about winning mentality and whether you're a winner and whether you know what it takes to win. And Mr. Quickly has got it too. Mr. Quickly has got some very kind of winning vibes and like I'm gonna do what it takes to try and win games kind of stuff. I mean, he hit some game winners, right? He's hit some game winners this year. And he goes above and beyond. Like when the game's close at the end of the game, well, there is some Fred Van Vliet and Manuel Quickly as far as like we got to amp up and get even tougher at this pressurized part at the end of the game and hit some big threes. So, it'll be welcome return. And hopefully IQ will be playing tonight. Like I said, if he doesn't play tonight, it's likely he'll come back for the second Miami game for sure. I'm wearing your jersey, IQ. Let's come on. Call 5. I need 5 out there today. That's right. I need 5 out there today. That's right. Stargate saying Atlanta has Cleveland twice and Miami once. Either Indiana or Milwaukee have to do us a solid and beat the Sixers in the last 2 games. That's tough, man. Siakam. It's Nick Nurse, my guy. It's Nick Nurse and Joel. Yeah. Go beat your Cameroonian countryman and your former coach. That there was some dubiousness between Siakam and Nurse. Yeah, I mean, we gotta help us, Obi-Wan Pascal. You're our only hope. It's not our only hope, but it could really help a lot. I'm not gonna put any weight into Milwaukee. There's more weird news about Milwaukee right now. The ESPN really wants to make it seem like what's happening with Giannis is absolutely toxic and messed up. I don't see it this way. Giannis did an interview yesterday saying he wants to stay in Milwaukee again. Meanwhile, ESPN's putting articles out how everything has gone so bad this year with the Giannis and the Bucks that it's obvious a divorce is coming this summer. It's like they're manufacturing it. Giannis literally went on an interview yesterday and said straight up, I want to stay in Milwaukee. I want to be here. And then he said, basically, I'd like to get another superstar next to me this offseason for next year. So something's not adding up. Somebody's lying. And well, I'd like to believe the man who's himself instead of the hearsay that people say about him. I'm going to believe the man himself who said in an interview yesterday, I want to stay in Milwaukee. I'm not trying to leave. Why does ESPN say this on a regular daily basis that I want to leave Milwaukee? Because I don't. I don't want to leave Milwaukee. That's what he said again yesterday. I don't know. Why are you doing this, ESPN? Why are you lying about Antetokounmpo almost every day right now? You really want him out of there, don't you? Trying to pry an oyster out of his shell or something like that. He said you don't want to go. So listen to him, seriously. And does Milwaukee outwardly saying they want to trade him? Maybe they'll do it because they feel like they have to because ESPN pressured them because they're stupid. I don't know. It's so dumb. Milwaukee trades Giannis just because ESPN told them to, Milwaukee Bucks front office is stupid as fuck. There's some of the dumbest. That's the worst front office in the league. I'll declare that. They'll be just like the Chicago Sky. They'll be just like the Chicago Sky if they did that. Seriously. Yeah. Let's keep going. Shaq Lindsay saying, and thank you for supporting the channel, Shaq Lindsay, Smooth Brown Man. I appreciate y'all. And Fiercey. I don't know what to expect tonight. IQ's absence is hurting our spacing. I love Shed's heart, but teams are playing off him, leaving him open. This is hurting our offense. This may be why they're starting Walter instead of Shed to start games. Is because they can't leave Walter open. That's for sure right now. But they can get away with trying to leave Shed open. And that's maybe part of it right there. No, I really hope IQ's back tonight too. I really, really do. There's a good sign that he will be. I mean, I bet you he's trying to kind of feeling like, yeah, if I don't get back out there and help them, we may be playing in a playing game one and done, and this will not be good. So it's like, in some ways we got to don't save them for the postseason because the postseason may be all screwed up by the time we get the postseason if Emmanuel doesn't come back sooner. Darko did say they expected him to play again before the end of the regular season. 4 games to go. 4 games to go. Stargate saying, I believe the Rockets want that fourth seed, the West over the Lakers. So I believe they will play hard to beat the Sixers their next game. Well, the thing with the Rockets right now is that they've had some stumbles in recent weeks. They had a really bad losing streak, and they were kind of looking themselves in the mirror saying, who the hell are we? Are we a team that's going to just flame out and be bad and just lose in the playoffs right away? Or are we going to try and come and get this? And some of it was looking at themselves in the mirror. Some of it was kicking Kevin Durant in the head, trying to say, yeah, be a better leader. There's a couple of different things that are going on there. And they played way better recently. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they've won 6 in a row. So, yeah, I see this right here. They're only a game behind the Lakers. So there's wiggle room there to switch their position. And really what that is home court advantage in the first round because they're going to play each other. The Rockets will play the Lakers. And Fred VanVleet probably hopes that his team will have home court advantage. So, yeah, the Rockets are playing for something. They're playing for home court in the first round against possibly the LeBron in LA. So, yeah, and they'd flip it because right now the Lakers got that home court advantage. And there's a 1-game lead for the Lakers over the Rockets. So those games do matter. And, well, hopefully the Rockets beat the Sixers is what we're saying right here. That's right. Smooth saying Sixers still have to play Houston, hoping the Rockets handle them. That's right. From an old Rockets fan who really loves the Rockets for a long time, Reggie's saying, yeah, beat the Sixers. Yeah. 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 Can't win if you can't shoot. That's right. We got to shoot better. Miami's not the best shooting team either. We'll just say that. Shaq Lindsay saying Miami is in a similar situation, but much worse. Can't shoot and lack of effort. Kel Ware getting benched by Scott, only played 12 minutes in the last game. I know it's early, but I would love if Toronto drafted Cameron Carr from Baylor. Okay, I don't know who that is. You know what? Let's do a scout of the day. Why not? I'm going to go look up Cameron Carr. This is somebody I don't know anything about. I didn't watch the tournament. I see that Michigan won the championship last night, which is fantastic. But I didn't watch the tournament. I didn't watch any of this. Okay, so he's from Baylor, so he's friends with Jacoby because he'll know Jacoby because Jacoby will be like, yeah, you go to my school, Baylor. So Cameron Lewis Christopher Carr is 21 years old. He's from Minnesota. He's 6'5", 175 pounds, and he's a shooting guard. And he went to high school in Kansas and Missouri, and then he played a couple years in Tennessee and then transferred to Baylor. Oh, just real quick, I heard that the big man Oliver Ryu, our French-Canadian 7'9" player, just transferred from Florida Gators to Florida State. He's going to be a Seminole next year, is what I'm hearing. The big Oliver has come from the dark side to the bright side, going from the Gators to the Seminoles and joining old Scotty Barnes and Maria Conde and my alma mater in Tallahassee. So, hey, Oliver, he didn't like how they used him in Florida, got in the transfer portal, and now he's going to a place where actually Florida State's done a really good job of taking care of big man prospects like him in the past. So this is fantastic. Of course, it's not the former coach of the Wizards, Leonard Hamilton, coaching Florida State anymore. It's a former player, Luke Locks. So, yeah, that's what I'm hearing as of yesterday, that our big 7'9" French-Canadian future Team Canada player is going to go play for Florida State. Yeah, let's go. All right, back to this. I'm sorry, I just took a little side because of that. Yeah. All right, let's go look at Cameron Carr of the Baylor Bears in action on YouTube real quick. Let me just go get his highlight, and we're doing a first reaction, just like people do music reactions. Well, old Lex does basketball reactions to players that he's never seen before. And I don't watch college basketball, so it's all very new to me when I see a college player. Some of y'all may have watched these people a lot, and I haven't. So, Cameron Carr. Wow, this is like really dark. Why is that film so dark? There he is for 3. Nice stroke. Nice stroke. He came around the corner and set his feet right. Nice mechanics. He wears 43, it looks like, which is interesting. Oh, there's a nice move into the lane. He got fouled, and they're showing the foul shots. He's making the foul shots. Not bad foul shooting. They're losing bad in this game, though, Baylor. There's a corner three. It looks just like the one Jaylen Brown hit against us on Sunday. Here we go. A little dribble up at the top three. Nice way to get his rhythm, to get his shot to go. He's an interesting player. So he's a shooting guard. In some ways, this may be a little too duplicitous with Jacoby Walter. Like, as a Baylor guy with the same height and the same position. In some ways, I wouldn't want to get him for that, because it make muddy the situation and make things a little bit more crowded as far as that. I don't know if this position's one that we need, right? I still don't think we need that, unless it's like a really good shooter, like a known shooter, a guy that's just going to come in and be a dead eye for us as a rookie. Otherwise, I don't really want an athletic kind of wing. Okay, he's got some dribble, he's got some drive, high off the glass. That won't work in the NBA though. That move right there will not get scored in the NBA. They'll stop that. Let's see. Come around a pick at the top. He's doing a little dribble. There's a bigger defender on him. He gets some space from him and makes it off the glass. He really likes to use the glass, and high off the glass is what it looks like. There's a dribble stop pop, and he made it. And there's an offensive board, and then back out to him, and he leans into the contact but makes the shot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on this. And the reason why I'm not big on this is because of the duplicity with Walter. I feel like it's like, yeah, you want another guy that plays the same position as Baylor, out of Baylor, as Jacoby. Yeah, I don't like this. So I'm going to pass on Cameron Carr. And the reason why is because I don't think he fits needs for our team. And what I'm really saying is, if it's that position, I want a guy who's like a dead eye, like Con Knipple. I want a really good shooter. If it's going to be a shooting guard or a small forward, they have to be absolutely one of the best shooters in this draft. Otherwise, I want a big. And I've been singing that tune for a couple of years now. It's draft the center, draft the power forward, or draft a shooter. That's what I look at. I don't even want a point guard. I don't think we need point guards. I don't think we need shooting guards. I don't think we need normal small forwards. If you're a very, very good shooter, and if you're a big, those are my wish list for the Raptors right now, because those are the two areas we need the most. Jimmy's saying, I hope the whole team shows up quick. CMB, Mamu, all questionable. Yeah, we'll have to see. If they give a rest to Mamu or Colin for tonight, we'll have to see how the lineup looks. That could happen, where we give one of those guys a rest just near the end, right? Let's see. Where am I here? Oh, I went too far back. Trevor's saying this. Jaylen Brown shows lots of love to Raptors players, saying they are a playoff team. Yeah, this is a weird phenomena that's been going on this season with Jaylen Brown. He goes on Twitch after games and he reviews the game. Like, he watches highlights of the game he played in and talks about it with the fans. And I love that. That's a great interaction. And he's an astute guy, and he has interesting things that he says and he observes. And I didn't watch the Twitch footage, but I bet you I can understand what it is. There was the time earlier this year where he did one after he played us, and he said that Scotty Barnes has Ninja Turtle strength or something like that. He says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle strength. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Scotty's really strong, is what he said. Well, he had glowing things to say about our team after the game on Sunday, even though we lost the way we did, and a lot of us have been kind of about it. Jaylen Brown said our defense was really, really good, and he gave us a lot of props for it. And I bet you he broke down that play where he hit that corner three over Scott, and he said, listen, he played me perfectly. There's nothing he could have done. I was going to make that, and that's, it was a really hard shot. And I'm honestly, in some ways, lucky I made that. I don't know what he said exactly, but it's kind of cool that he does that. It's kind of cool that he does that. And that's so fun for their fans to get that interaction with him where he can go over the game with them later. Like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like it. And I appreciate that he said nice things about the Raptors. I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, let's not get it confused. What's going on in the world today is not about politics. It's about humanity in sports and humanity. Go ahead and hand. So Lex, keep talking. Yeah. I mean, that is an argument that people are using to try and hold things down, is let's not make this political. Let's I just want to listen to music. Why do you got to talk about politics, Bruce Springsteen? This shit has always bugged me, because this is part of the the status quo fighting against change by saying you shouldn't talk about politics, Muhammad Ali. You shouldn't talk about politics, Bono. You shouldn't talk about politics, LeBron James. It's like, no, they should because they have platforms of influence. And in some ways, if they have good hearts and open minds and the right kind of attitudes and the way they look at the world and they care about humanity, they should be heard because they're role models and they teach people how to be better people in some ways. You know, you don't want your role models to be Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos because those guys are con artists and they're absolutely filthy people that are not people to look up to and try and emulate. No, you're better off emulating, people that are, real heroes and people that actually are for good things in this world. You can't separate politics or the world events from anything at this point. It's all interconnected and it's all valid. And I think that that's the message that Shaq Lindsay's saying here right now. That's always been an excuse. No need to bring politics into this. I'm proud of Charles Barkley for voicing his opinion on national television about ICE on TV. That is something that more people need to be brave like that about. Seriously. Because when there's a state-run media that's going to just write the stories and say the things that certain people want, the truth needs to come from other places. And it can come from arts, it can come from sports, and it can come from ordinary, everyday citizens like myself. Yeah, I appreciate that, Shaq Lindsay. I do. Denali's saying this. The Raptors continue to build their team organically. I could easily see them winning one or two playoff series. This year? I don't know about this year, but that'd be awesome. It's not that I'm against this. Yeah, once again, we have to understand our cake is baking in a different oven than other people's cakes. And our cake is a little bit more of a slow cook. It's going to take a little longer. And, instant success is usually instantly going down afterwards. So you want to build it right, build it slow, build it organically, and you will get longer term results and a bigger window to compete in if you do it right. If you do it right, you can have a good window to compete. If you rush it, you may get only 1 year of really a high level compete to go for a championship. So you really want to build it right so you can be a perennial contender. The way the Celtics built things up with Brown and Tatum for this period of time that they've been on their team has been very smart. And it's made them a very, very powerful, good team for many years because of it. But they had to build it up. The early years of Tatum and Brown were not total success. There was a lot of failure in getting to the point where the Celtics are now. So, that's part of the process. And in some ways, we're in that process with our team. And hopefully, Barnes and Barrett can be like Tatum and Brown in the years to come. And we can look back and say, yeah, that was when we struggled more. But now we're more a powerhouse. Now we're more a sure contender and championship contender. And we are more respected. That's what we want to do. I like that. Denali, good to see you back in the chat. Always good to see you when you're here with us. Fiercely saying this week will be interesting for fans of teams versus fans of individual players in WNBA. Like Lex says, buckle up. Yeah. I'm really enjoying getting to know the WNBA fan sphere. On Reddit, there's a lot of WNBA talk, and it's cool to see the different fan nations of different teams. Of course, Liberty Nation's very big. Sky Nation's actually pretty big. Fever Nation, Sparks Nation. Seeing all the different WNBA fan nations online and how they kind of talk about their teams and who they care about is very refreshing. In some ways, some of the same elements of the NBA with toxicness and stuff is there, but not totally in the same way. It seems like a lot of the WNBA fans are good people and they try to be positive overall. And there's not as much nephewism and kind of just like casual kind of stupid stuff. They're more real, true supporters of their team. They're devoted in a positive way to their teams, just like we are for the Raptors. And I like that. In some ways, it's cool, too, to see the different nations of the WNBA kind of interact on Reddit. And they're not like abrasive to each other. They're kind of like, oh, yeah, I seen what you guys did in Indiana. That's awesome. It's like, oh, yeah, I really respect your team over in L.A. It's not like NBA fans with guys and they're kind of like pushy and jerks and toxic. There's a lot more community in the WNBA between team fan nations, and they're all kind of like, very mature and grown up about it and like nice. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to see that. Yeah. Yeah. Good games. Brought up the names I was looking for. Alexa Philippou and Annie Constable are great for WNBA breaking news. Those are the shams of WNBA. And those are the two people that you should pay attention to later this week because they're going to be breaking the news about Aja Wilson's huge contract with the Las Vegas Aces. They're going to be breaking the news of Breanna Stewart probably staying with the Liberty. But who knows? Could there be a weird swerve? Although she's publicly already declared she's staying in New York. I thought that there could be a weird way that Sandy lures Stewie to Toronto somehow. I mean, if anybody's going to be able to get Breanna Stewart out of New York Liberty, it's Sandy Brondello and bringing her to Toronto Tempo. But I don't think this is realistic, especially since Breanna Stewart's publicly said, I am re-signing with the New York Liberty this week. This is the kind of names that are going to be figured out and sorted out in WNBA free agency in like a matter of 3 days, Friday to Sunday this weekend, because they want to get a lot of this stuff done before the draft next Monday. They want to get a lot of this stuff done. They're not going to waste any time either. Gee, I'm going to give you a dunk for coming through with the names that I was looking for. That's Alexa and Annie. So check them out. Give them a follow because they're the WNBA shams. That's right. Let's see. Denali's saying, I watched Colin Murray-Boyles against the Celtics, and I wish he was on a different team. He's going to be a future star, in my honest opinion. Whoa, you don't like him on our team? What's going on there, Denali? Seriously, no. We love Colin Murray-Boyles, and we want him long-term on the Raptors. Come on now. That's not Raptor Freak talk right there. That's right. Kaloy is saying this. Looking at the bench fully healthy, Colin, Jacoby, Shed, and Mamu as a solid bench. It's the first five that sucked in that Celtics game. Come on, Scotty. You need to sharpen up. Yeah, they set the tone. And I'm gonna say this once again. I said this yesterday. I had a long stream yesterday, but I'll say this again. Scotty, you're a leader. Brandon, you're a leader. RJ, you're a leader. Emmanuel, you're a leader. You guys can set the tone for the rest of the guys on the team. If you come out aggressive and hardworking and all over the place and like madmen, well, Jacoby and Colin will follow. That's the thing. You guys got to set the table, set the tone, set the energy, set the compete, set the how much you give a shit about the game so that the rest of them will fall in line and follow your lead. And Scotty, you're the epicenter. You're the first one that should be doing it. Brandon, your attention to detail and making sure you're making your shots is a big part of this. RJ, your steady, hard-nosed kind of fight is given almost every night, and you do lead by that. But I'm just saying, you guys have a lot of influence over the other guys on the team, and they follow your lead. So if you come out there and you show a crazy amount of energy and busting your ass, Scotty, you know Shed and Walter and the rest of the guys off the bench are going to follow suit. So set the tone right, starters, and set the tone so the bench can come out and give their best effort. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Denali's saying Giannis will be a Laker this summer. Sorry, but not sorry. All he wants is another championship. No, he doesn't. That's not what Giannis wants. Everybody thinks that he cares about a championship. Listen, that's the same shit that they did to Dame Lillard, right? And this is why Giannis is not falling for this, is because they gaslighted Dame Lillard, right, out of Portland. Oh, you've been in Portland your whole career. You got a chase a chip. Go to Milwaukee and play with Giannis and go get a chip with him. Like, it's just that simple. No, you got to understand, people are family men. You know, he makes so much money and he has so much roots in the state of Wisconsin that, you know, it's a hardship to go to another team. You think the priority is he wants another championship? What does he have to prove? He's a champion. He has a championship. He doesn't have to prove jack shit. That may work on Dame Lillard, where you come around and say, oh, you need to win a championship for your career. Oh, my gosh, I'm scared. I'm going to leave my family, and I'm going to go to Milwaukee for 2 years. And, well, it was a mistake. And Giannis saw it firsthand what Lillard went through the 2 years because he was his teammate. He saw how depressed he was away from his children, away from his family and friends and the people that cared about him in Portland, the place where he spent most of his life. You know, the NBA can be transitory and people have to move because they get traded against their will. Just ask Dennis Schroeder. Giannis is a power player. He can decide his future. It's just that the NBA machine and the ESPN machine want to try and reroute him somewhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere. This is wrong, Denali. I'm going to give you 2 strikes. The first one for Colin, and the second one for this comment here. You're saying he's sorry or not sorry? He's going to be a Laker? That's bullshit. How the fuck are they going to do that? First of all, they're going to trade LeBron for Giannis? Are they going to trade Luka for Giannis? Because you're not going to have a super team in LA that's going to have Luka, LeBron, and Giannis on it. That's just not realistic. So I don't understand this. I don't know where you get this. It's more likely that Giannis would get traded to New York for a major player from that team, then or maybe even go to Miami or something like that. If he is going to leave Milwaukee, which he said yesterday, he's not trying to leave Milwaukee. Everybody who says, oh, he wants to get another championship, that's all he wants, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong. This is the thing. Y'all can gaslight Dame Lillard, but you're not going to gaslight Giannis because Giannis has already won a championship. He doesn't have this need. Did Charles Barkley win a championship? No. Did John Stockton win a championship? No. Did Patrick Ewing win a championship? No. Did Karl Malone win a championship? No. Did Vince Carter win a championship? No. There's so many players that never won a championship in the NBA that were great players. Giannis has won a championship. What does he have to prove? Nothing. And if he doesn't win another championship for the rest of his career, is that the end of the world? No. The man's making millions of dollars. He has kids that he loves that are in school in Milwaukee. He has a family in Milwaukee. And sometimes priorities over this and championships is not what you think. Sometimes it's about the kids. Because everything I see with Giannis at this point, he has kids that he really loves. And that's his number one priority in some ways is his family. Now, is moving away from your family to play somewhere else like Dame Lillard did a good move? No, because Giannis has seen the mistake in Lillard. And he won't make the same mistake for himself because he saw the misery that Dame Lillard went through when he was on the Bucks. So, yeah, that's it right there. Boom goes a dynamite. Let's just destroy this crazy-ass talk here. All right, Denali's saying this. I know this is a Raptors channel, but I just have to say that the Lakers would have won the title this year if it wasn't for injuries. The best clutch team often wins the title. It makes me sick to think about what could have been. I don't know I didn't know that you were a Florida State fan. Best wishes to Oliver. I went to Florida State. I grew up in Tallahassee. I got my BA in creative writing for radio and in communication and minor. And then I even went to grad school in Florida State in Tallahassee. So I'm a Seminole, just like Scotty Barnes, just like Maria Conde, just like Oliver Ryu. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I forgot. Denali's more of a Lakers fan than a Raptors fan. And that's why he's talking out of pocket. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you 2 strikes and be careful because I do strike people out. And this is a clubhouse. We don't mind other people from other fan nations coming in here, but talking about trading one of our rookies and then talking about, Giannis wants to be a Laker. You're crazy. You're crazy. Be careful. I'll give you 1 strike. I don't want to strike you out because I have a feeling you might say something else out of pocket and I'll want to kick you off the channel. So be careful here. Just be careful. That's right. G saying this. Giannis has 4 kids in Milwaukee, all with roots. He is a deeply loyal person, so I believe him when he says he wants to stay. Whether front office does something will be up to them, in my opinion. Yeah, and that would be one of the dumbest things they could do. You don't trade a player like Giannis. Hello, Dallas. You don't trade a player like Giannis. You just don't. It's stupid. It's the same reason why you don't trade a player like Scotty Barnes. It's just stupid. You don't do that. So, yeah, I think that ESPN, once again, glazes the hell out of Denali's team overly. And I think it's crazy that he said that he thought that they're going to win the championship just because they got hurt recently because Austin's out now and Luka's all messed up too. You guys weren't winning jack shit. Y'all don't play defense. Defense wins championship. Y'all will be a first-round exit with the Rockets this year. And you probably already think that, yeah, because you got injuries. But no, man, I stand by what I said before the season, earlier this season, Denali, when I told you the Lakers won't win jack shit because they don't play defense. You have to play both ends of the court. And just because Luka can put up 60 points and LeBron can be LeBron and Austin Reeves can be overrated, doesn't mean that they were going to be a championship contender. As I said to you before, there's like 5 teams in the West that are better championship contenders than the Lakers. And the Lakers are a hollow team that is an offensive juggernaut, but absolute defensive wimp. And that's the problem right there. And defense wins championships in the playoffs. And they have shown this in the LeBron era. You can get a Mickey Mouse championship with some bullshit in Orlando in the bubble, but otherwise, failure, failure, failure in the postseason with LeBron James in the purple and gold. That's just what is normal and is what's true when it's not manipulated like the NBA did in 2020. So, yeah, sorry. Sorry to break it to you. Superfan Mo's in the house. Good morning, Monique Lawrence. Good to see you. Good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. Happy game day. Happy game day to my producer, the superfan, Monique Lawrence. Yeah, let's go. Denali's saying at G, loyalty goes out the window when the Lakers want you. No, they don't. All right. You know what? I'm timing you out. I don't want to kick you off the channel because I've enjoyed talking to you in the past, but you're coming in today in the wrong way. And I'm going to put you in timeout. You're going to timeout for 24 hours. You will not be allowed to talk on this channel. So, yeah, this is not Lakers Freak. You want to go spread your Lakers garbage, go to a Lakers channel. How about that? How about that right there? That's right. Let's go. All right, let me see. Jimmy's laughing at him. Iron Man FC saying good morning to Superfan Mo. That's right. Say hello to Superfan. We love Monique. Jimmy's saying, I'm sorry. Unlike it's rigged like that Luka trade, that ain't happening. Laughing my ass off. Other teams have a way better package, but you're allowed to dream. Yeah, Jimmy, set this guy straight. Seriously, what are you going to do? How are you going to get Giannis? You better trade Luka. You're going to have to trade Luka to get Giannis. That's the only way it does this. Yeah, you guys think that you're a charity case and everybody should just hand you premium players around the league and you can trade garbage the other way? Like, what is this? This overly privileged, egotistical stance of Denali, the Laker freak here in the stream today. Seriously, this sounds like desperation. This sounds like whining and crying because Reeves and Doncic are out now. And he's scared because LeBron's the lone man standing. That's what this sounds like. This desperate kind of bullshit, whining and complaining because people got hurt and now going to make excuses for how they're going to fail out now. That's what this sounds like to me. G saying this, not really, Denali, because whom are they giving up? What picks? Other teams have better packages unless you want Luka to go to the Bucks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, Austin Reeves does not equal Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, he doesn't. Y'all can inflate his value in all kinds of ways, but he is not equal to him. You can't get away with just trading him. You got to trade Luka. And they're not going to want LeBron. LeBron's too old. LeBron's got no years in the tank. LeBron's almost done. So, yeah, it's going to have to be Luka Doncic to the Bucks if you think Giannis is going to be in purple and gold. And he doesn't want that. This man does not want Hollywood life. You're saying, oh, the Lakers call you, you come. No. A lot of people have rejected the Lakers over the years. Trevor Gleason. Let's see. There's all kinds of players that have rejected coming to the Lakers because they're like toxic and they can see it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go to the Lakers. Don't send me to the Lakers. You know, this whole idea that everybody's just dying to be on the Lakers is ridiculous. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Yeah, let's see. Stargate saying this. Lex is a Florida State alumni, sir, not just a fan. That's right. I am a graduate of Florida State University. That is right. Right. All right, I'll read one more here. Politics is one of the reasons I come to listen to this channel. I would probably not listen if he said ridiculous, racist, make America great talking points. See, I can get behind him on this. You know, he appreciates my politics, and I appreciate that. In some ways, we got to find the ways that we can bond on things, if not on Giannis. We got to find those things. Fiercely saying, thank you, G, for the WNBA reliable sources. I follow a few content creators, but they provide reactions, mixed reality. Yeah. In some ways, you gotta find like the news sources. There's a lot of rhetoric and just opinion pieces and YouTube channels like mine. And, you know, you want to get the sources, the breaking news people. Well, it sounds like Alexa and Annie are those people for the WNBA. I miss Woj still. I think some people come out and said Shams did such a bad job on the trade deadline this year that he was not anything like Adrian Wojnarowski. that like, yeah, Woj retiring and going to do whatever he's doing now, his alma mater, has not been a good trade to get Shams in there. Shams. Shams. Most very, very happy for Tyreek Key. So am I. This just is awesome. It's so, so awesome. So awesome. Jimmy's saying, but I'm sorry for those injuries, Denali. Luka was having a great year. Yeah, that's too bad. Did you see the footage of when he got hurt? He's laying on the ground, and a fan said to him, this is what happens when you play defense. And Austin Reeves says, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to him. Have some respect. He said, no, fuck you. No, fuck you. This is like this exchange between Austin Reeves and a fan on the sideline talking shit to Luka while he's hurt on the ground. It's actually kind of a funny little clip, but it's also kind of like, yeah, just shut up, man. Just shut up. You know, egging him on. I don't know. You watch that. It's kind of funny, man. I feel bad in some ways for Luka, but not because of his playing or being hurt. I feel bad for him because he's in the middle of a custody battle. And that kind of stuff is nerve-wracking and heart-wrenching. And I feel bad for him in his social life and his relationship with his ex and his children being over in Europe away from him. You know, this is an interesting thing. Luka has gone to Europe to rehab. He has left the Lakers and left the United States to go to Europe. And he's probably going to be there with his ex and the kids and fighting the custody battle there. But he's also working on his body and rehabbing there with doctors there. So he's not even in the continent anymore. He left our continent here and he's gone back to Europe. So that's interesting. You don't see him on the sideline with the Lakers. He's going to be working out and doing things for himself away from the team. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying Denali is a Laker fan, not a Raptors fan. Saying he wished Colin was on another team and shit like that will get you banned here. Yeah. Fuck the Lakers. There you go. You want a dunk? There you go. And see, you get a dunk for that. You get banned for saying that, and you get a dunk for saying that. That's right. That's what we do here. This is a clubhouse. This is a Raptors clubhouse. And we got 48 hours for a Stargate, 48 dunks from Mr. Stargate, the man who beat the machine. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying Dan Hurley turned down $70 million from the Lakers, did not want to coach the team despite having LeBron on it. It's quite telling to me. Turning down coaching the so-called king. Yeah, there you go, right there. There you go. That's one I forgot. Dan Hurley, they really wanted him to coach, but they got JJ Redick instead. And Dan Hurley said, nope, not interested. You know who's interested in coaching in college, though? Michael Malone. Son of first Raptors coach Brendan Malone, has been hired by UNC to be the next coach of University of North Carolina Tar Heels, that storied franchise. This is a cool, interesting hire. Michael Malone coaching the job that Hubert Davis just lost last week. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Mike Malone in the college ranks, coaching a very storied program. Very, very storied. Roy Williams, Dean Smith. Yeah, that's a big-time seat that Mike Malone is sitting in now. Yeah, he's a hard-nosed coach, an old-school coach. In some ways, he's built more for college than for NBA. NBA is a lot of egos and a lot of stuff, and in some ways, he got to that point with the Nuggets. But in college, the coach is the superstar, and in some ways, he can be Bobby Knight at that level, just like his dad was, and be that old school tough coach that is really mean to his players and telling them how they got to be, because they're college kids and they need that kind of direction sometimes. That's right. Yeah. Mo's giving me a keep up the great work and great streams. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. And let's see. Denali saying, no disrespect was intended. I just love watching Colin Murray-Boyles, and I think he's going to be a dog. That's disrespectful because he's our first round pick this year, and he's somebody as a building block for the Raptors towards our next championship. So we're not trying to get rid or have Colin Murray-Boyles leave Toronto. No, we got to keep him here. Yeah, he's a good player. I like that you recognize that. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Bye, Felicia. Our man saying some people are delusional, Lex. Yeah. Well, he's a homer. He loves the Lakers a lot. In some ways, that's cute. In some ways, it's kind of like annoying. But it's also kind of like, yeah, par for the course for Laker Nation. Delusional about how important and how great they are. It's always been that way. They could be losing in the play-in, and they still think they got the hottest shit in the world. You know? It's stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, Coach Hurley rejected the Lakers. That's right. That's right. G saying, No problem, Fiercey. Fiercey saying Lakers glazing annoying at the stupid WNBA expansion draft broadcast. ESPN showed the Lakers logo in the background of the actual Fire logo. I was like, why? Why do we see this on WNBA content? Yeah, well, I've had the stream a long time ago where I said that ESPN has basically become a Glaze the Lakers channel, a TMZ for the Lakers. And it's like, why don't you just be a Lakers fan network? Is because they cover LeBron and Luca and the Lakers so overly that anything else, I think out of anything on that whole entire channel, they talk about the Lakers probably a huge percentage more than anything else on ESPN. And well, that logo showing up on the WNBA expansion draft, that's not surprising to me. That's not surprising to me. Hey, well, let's do a birthday real quick. Let's say happy birthday to Portland Fire assistant GM and Toronto Raptors champion, Brittany Donaldson. It is Brittany Donaldson's birthday today. She's turning 33. She's a former player, of course, and she won a championship also in the CBL, guys, with the Hamilton Honey Badgers as an assistant coach. So she's an NBA champion with the Toronto Raptors championship team in 2019 as an assistant coach. And she's also a CBL, Canadian Elite Basketball League champion with the Hamilton Honey Badgers in 2022. So happy birthday to Brittany Donaldson, the assistant GM of the Portland Fire WNBA expansion team. Did you guys notice she was over there with the Portland Fire? And she had a part in getting Bridget Carlton over there. Did you know that? Happy birthday, Brittany. Yeah, she's an important person in the Raptors history. And of course, she's had many stops since the Raptors, coaching with Dwayne Casey in Detroit. Also had some coaching time with the Atlanta Hawks in recent years, also with Quid Schneider. Yeah. I also want to say, just as a quick personal note, happy birthday to my brother, Carl. It's his birthday today. So, yeah, my brother lives in Atlanta. I love you, Carl. And I hope you have a fantastic birthday today. Yeah. Yeah. It's a little personal birthday for me, my brother's birthday. That's right. Let's see. Jimmy's saying, I kind of don't blame him. That fan base has been brainwashed into thinking they can get anybody. Yeah. I mean, that may have been true at a certain point, but they've squandered it in the era of LeBron. There was points in the Lakers history where there were a lot of people who want to be Lakers and try to come there. You could think about Shaquille O'Neal leaving the Orlando Magic to become a Laker in the mid 90s and just how much that pissed off everybody in Orlando. Trust me, they're still pissed at Shaq for that. Although they did retire his jersey finally in Orlando. But you know, that may have been more true around Magic and James Worthy and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and AC Green, Kurt Rambis, that era. You know, that may have been more true then. And maybe it was true around Shaq and Kobe a bit, but it's not true with LeBron. It is not true with LeBron. And the reason why partly is players have come to LA with the promise of great things happening, and they've actually hurt their careers going to LA. There's a laundry list of players that have come to the Lakers in the last 8 years or so, and it's been a fail. And it's just been like, yeah, this has not done good things for my career. In some ways, this place is toxic, is dysfunctional. Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Yeah, there's problems here. And it manifests. There's been a family feud on the down low for like over a decade with the Buss family that has kind of been resolved with the new ownership now with the Mark Walter. But, you know, that underlying tension between the siblings of the Buss family and the wishes of Dr. Jerry Buss, that was absolutely toxic and manifesting itself into some of the failures of the Lakers on the court. Because that stuff was all going on behind the scenes. I mean, it was toxic when she was dating Phil Jackson and Phil Jackson was around and doing coach stuff for them. That was toxic then too. So yeah, there's a certain level of toxic. You know, sometimes these coveted franchises like the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Maple Leafs go through problems with egos and people that really love the team and they think that they can be helpful to the team and they're power players and they have a lot of money and they get involved, but they just meddle and they make it worse. That's why every team in sports should have one person who's in charge and not like 5 different people power struggling, trying to control the team. Because you don't get anything done. It's like the US government. You don't get anything done if you have too many people trying to steer the car. That's why the Raptors had a very direct leader, a numero uno in Masai Ujiri. That's why we got so much done in the era of Ujiri. because it was very clear who the cook was in the kitchen. And if you have too many cooks in the kitchen in a lot of these situations, whether it's the Maple Leafs, whether it's the Knicks, whether it's the Lakers, you will have toxic dysfunction because there's a push pull of egos behind the scenes that nobody sees. And that's definitely been a factor for the Toronto Maple Leafs and their struggles in the last few decades. That there's egos behind the scenes and everybody wants to have their mark and to have their say. And sometimes there's feuds on the down low that people don't know about publicly. And they are the toxic reasons why your team's not good. And you don't even realize it because it's all in the boardrooms and behind closed doors. Seriously, man. It's that kind of stuff. Because Fred talked about it on Unguarded Podcast, Fred Van Vliet, that you would be shocked just how much the toxic situations with owner groups and front offices can contribute to the product on the court and how teams play and whether they're playing well or not. Yeah. 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 All right. Let me go on with my tabs some more real quick, and we might be finishing up real soon. All right, guys, we'll do straight goods on Canadian goods. This one's a different one today. This is red rose tea. Yeah, you guys like tea. I like I have a ritual now after every stream I do. I have to drink a tea from my throat to make it feel better. And this is Orange Pico red rose tea. Red rose is Canadian, right? This company is famous for making those little statues that they used to put out with the tea, right? They had the little animal statues that you could collect. They're like porcelain, really, really cool. Well, red rose can be traced back to Atlantic Canada over 100 years ago when Theodore Harding Estabrooks was born in Wicklow, New Brunswick in 1861. In 1894, Estabrooks opened the door to his own business on Dock Street in St. John, blending and packing teas that would offer his customers the highest quality beverage experience cup after cup. The idea of a pre-blended and packaged tea was innovative, and the business quickly expanded throughout Atlantic Canada and eventually into the United States and the rest of Canada as well. So yeah, red rose tea, they're famous for those little like porcelain things. Your grandma might have a collection of them somewhere in a curio. But yeah, this is a good Canadian tea brand. So if you want tea like Lex does after his stream, Orange Pico Red Rose, straight goods on Canadian goods. That's right. There you go. Red Rose tea. Yeah. Let's see. Michael Edwards, thank you for the subscription. 4558. Sup, Lex? Question. Was wondering how come you don't upload your shows on Instagram? Well, I used to do my show solely on Instagram. I used to do a juice show on Instagram where I would do previews. And this was the year of Tampa when we had Aaron Baines and Alex Len, and we were in Tampa. That season, I did my show on Instagram. And it didn't totally work. I would juices on the show. I'd like throw a juice together. You could go to my Instagram account. And you'll see the old episodes where I would predict the score for the game. I talk about what was going to happen in the game later and do a preview. And I'd also juice a drink and I'd try it on the show. And I would rate the drink that I made too. And sometimes I juice weird shit, like stuff you weren't supposed to put through a juicer. And it would taste crazy. And it was kind of a funny show, but it didn't really work, the format. I used to do an Instagram show in the convenience store back in Kensington Market. And that stuff is all up there still on my Instagram. But the show's also on YouTube at this point. I've transferred it over to YouTube. The Instagram show I used to do, the Kensington Variety VIP Club, which was an awesome show, a show of community, a show of history, time period in history before the pandemic and when the pandemic hit. So it's a good a log of what happened. But yeah, I'm not about Meta at this point, Michael. All due respect, I'm not with Zuckerberg. And Zuckerberg's showing up for Trump the way he is. Yeah, I'm boycotting his products. So I have to use Facebook and Instagram very little. Part of it is to keep in touch with family and friends through Messenger on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I'm still going in there and checking the Instagram stories and pages of Raptors and Tempo players just to kind of keep tabs on what they're doing in their lives. But I'm not posting on either one of those sites anymore. And I'm very much limiting my interaction with those sites to the two things I just said I do on there. But yeah, I'm trying to get away from Meta. So doing any kind of content on Instagram is just not going to happen. This is my place right here. And I know that Google's not perfect either with YouTube, but this has been working for me here. And I'm not looking back to Instagram. Instagram was a fun place for me to be for a few years. That was my primary place where I created. But YouTube has been the place since 2021. So about 5 years now I've been here. So yeah, I appreciate the comment and I appreciate the subscription too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really about uploading, like putting this is like 2-hour shows. How do you put that on Instagram? I don't know. I don't know how to do that. In some ways, I don't want to anyway. Yeah, I'm thinking about actually closing my Instagram account and taking all my information and all my content off of there. Wow, that hawk's coming in fast. Woo-wee! It just flew right over me. That's cool. I like that. All right, let's do the classic card. Yeah, Fiercely saying harder to interact on Instagram Live. Lex would have to read the comments super quick. Yeah, it's something that I'm not interested in doing. Even when I did that old show, I wasn't doing it live. There was no interaction with anybody. I just filmed myself talking about the games and posted them. And honestly, that show sucked. If you go and watch the old episodes of that, you'll see an early version of me that's not as polished. And in some ways, I'm not doing things correctly on that show. I'm kind of embarrassed of it to a degree, honestly. But I left it up there. If people want to go look at it, a Raptors Freak on Instagram, you can find it. And you can probably see some of the way that my show's evolved. You know, you can see the beginning episodes on YouTube and where I am now. It's, you know, you do this every day, you're going to get better. You're going to practice. You're going to get better. All right, here we go. Classic card of the day, full name answer. Speaking of UNC and, you know, Carolina, you know, Michael Malone. Who is this classic card player? On the classic card, get some points. If you can name this player, J.R. Reed. That's right, Charles. Charles is a new name, and he's got San Jose Sharks logo on there. Very cool, Charles. Yes, that's right. This is J.R. Reed, formerly of UNC, but also of the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, this is like his second year card. Let's see. He had such a baby face, but he was like such a big guy. He was such a big guy. Like he really had a Kyle Lowry big butt, and he was a load. He was tough to deal with. Charles, this is cool. I'm going to put a new name on the classic card list. Charles, you're getting your first points, and you're going to be going on our Raptor Freak trivia standings because you have earned points. And you know what? I'm going to give you, since you're just showed up, we're going to give you 100 points for getting J.R. Reed today. Yeah, that's a fun little game we do at the end of streams usually is we do the classic card of the day. And it's just an old basketball card I pulled randomly out of a little box. And Trevor Jones has supplied for us. I appreciate Trevor for that. I really do. But yeah, Charles, good job, man. All right, let's do a rundown real quick. I'm just at 2 hours, so we can get out of here. Yeah, Iron Man saying, good job. I didn't even remember J.R. Reed existed. Yeah, he was mostly on the Hornets, but he did have part of his career in Spurs. And I remember him in the Spurs jersey. Was he around Dennis and Robinson, I think. He was with Rodman and Robinson around that era in the middle of the 90s. Yeah, J.R. Reed. Yeah, he was a solid college player for sure. His NBA career, not bad. It wasn't a bad NBA career. It wasn't like top notch like his college career, but he was a solid player in the NBA too. I would say that. All right, going over things for today. Latest lineup news: Sandro is questionable due to a knee soreness. Colin is questionable due to quadriceps. Emmanuel is questionable, but that's better than out. And Chucky Hepburn is out. So, yeah, the Raptors have, I believe it's like a 54% chance to win, according to the ESPN matchup predictor. Miami Heat, and their injury list is Nikola Jovic is out. Tyler Hero is probable. Norman Powell is probable. And Terry Rozier is out. Yeah, the referees for today in the replay center, Danica Baruti, Nick Booker, and Fennessy Ransom. And on site, we've got John Goebel of Miami, who favors the Heat, Dedrick Taylor of Miami, who favors the Heat, and Michael Smith, who favors the Heat. So all three refs are statistically better records with the Miami Heat today, just so y'all know. All right, yeah, I guess that's it. We've wrapped up the stream. We're right at 2 hours, so we're going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate everybody. Let's see. Charles is saying he was one of my favorite players. You can tell that I'm old now. That's okay. In some ways, this channel is, if young people want to watch my channel, you can learn a lot about basketball and the history and the Raptors and all that kind of stuff. But really, this channel is for old school basketball fans that are like us, Charles. I'm 50. I turned 50 last year. And my era of loving basketball when I first started loving it was the 80s and the 90s. So, you're in the right age bracket and don't worry about it. You know, uh it's fine. We're just older. That's all. We got the grace and the 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 luxury and the privilege to be older and live to this age. And I look at that as the way I look at it. I don't mind getting older. I really don't. In some ways, it's amazing to be getting older. I think it's cool. All right, y'all. Let's go, Raptors. We gotta win. We gotta beat Miami. Don't mess around. You gotta win. And this is the jerseys they're wearing tonight. If you guys want to color coordinate with the team, yeah, you only use Instagram to talk to your sisters. See, there you go. That's a good reason to use it. I use it to talk to uh, Drew Jones and Alessandro and Monique and people like that. I'll talk to on Instagram a little bit, but most of the time I'm not talking to anybody on there. Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors and beat the Heat tonight. Yeah, we got beat the Heat, beat the Heat, beat the Heat.